In this video, we're going to dive into record sections and layout inside of the expanded record in SmartSuite. So if that's of interest, stick around and let's get into it. When you expand or open a record inside of SmartSuite, you're able to narrow down and get a really nice view of everything happening inside of that record. And big part of that, one of the best ways that SmartSuite helps deliver a lot of value in the way we visualize that data is through sections and layout of that expanded record. So let's hop on into my screen and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Let's say I'm looking at my contacts here inside of my sales CRM, and I want to expand this record and get more information about Debbie Atwater. Well, in order to do that, I open up the record either by clicking here or just by hovering over the record and hitting spacebar on my keyboard like so. Now, when I do that, what opens up in front of us is the expanded or open vision or version of that record. And so here you can see all the same fields that exist for that record, but inside of this opened version, what you notice is that data is categorized into sections. And so here, by default, for this particular application, I have a general information section, and that includes the name and what account this particular contact is associated with, and what the contact's title is, and department, and phone number, and email. So standard, general information. But as we scroll down, we see there's an additional information section where we include some social elements and birthday. And we can even look at the opportunities section to see what different opportunities are connected to this particular contact. So these collapsible sections allow us to organize our data on the expanded vision of this record so that it's easier to utilize and easier to navigate. So the big question is, how do we then access this information? Well, first and foremost, let's imagine we wanted to create a new section specifically for phone numbers. On that particular field that we have, we can simply click the action menu here and come on down to add section. When I make that selection, I'm then prompted to name the section. So I might call this phone numbers. And you'll notice that this section took over and everything below it, which was originally in the general information section, is now there. So because I added the new section here at the phone number level, everything under that is now included in the phone number section. I can collapse that section or expand it, and we see all the information there now that I've added that section. Now, a couple things that we can do with these sections. If you don't want certain information in that section, maybe you want the email to be back in the general information, no problem. Hover over email here, and then you get the ability to move it in the upper left corner. Simply click and drag that, and you can then drop this new element wherever you want into any different section on this expanded record. Now, another nice thing about sections, once we have established the section, is we can go to the action menu for the section, and we have a couple of different options here. If you want to move a section up or down, you do that right here. You can rename it at any time, and you can also opt to collapse this section by default. In doing this, whenever anybody opens up this record, by default, they'll see that that section is closed. Maybe it doesn't hold pertinent information, but they can always expand that section again to see anything that's inside of it if they so choose. Now, the last piece here includes the layout of the particular expanded view. So right now I'm on what we call a 50-50 split. So you actually can control how you want this expanded view to show up. Go up into the action menu in the upper right corner of that record. Simply select here, and then we see that we have the page settings option. Once I click page settings, we have the opportunity to pick a layout for this information. I can switch it to a 70-30 split, which is really nice if we have some longer fields that we want on the 70% and some shorter fields on the 30%. We can also opt for a single column, and you see that we have the 2-column 50-50 split as well. Let's just go ahead and experiment with the 2-column 70-30. I'll make that selection here. Now that I have the nice 70-30 layout, if I decide I want to move something into the larger side, maybe the name needs to go over there, I simply click on the action menu for that field, and I can tell it I want this to span 2 columns, which is going to move it over. Alternatively, if I change my mind and I want this thing to go back over to the other side, I click on action menu again, and I get the span 1 column option, which is going to kick it back over to the short side. So experiment with the different layouts. Maybe you don't like the 70-30 and you prefer to go up to the page settings and click on the 1 column instead. You have options in the way that you view this data inside of SmartSuite, so go ahead and experiment and find what works best for you. I know we went fast here, so if you need to go back and rewatch, please do, and I look forward to seeing you in the next training. If you have any questions about what we covered in this training, please ask them below in the comments section of this video, and until then, we'll see you in the next training.